Okay, leading on from the last lesson, we modelled the leg in the last video. We are going to move on to modelling the torso in the next video, well, in this video, should I say. So one of the things we need to look at first is maybe some reference images. So some topology you can see here going round. There's a loop going round the waist, and that also goes down towards the bottom here to connect up the legs. These loop around like a cylinder, and then at the arms, this is where we need to be quite careful on the neck. You can see again, we need to make sort of a loop going round, ready to connect to the arm, and again, ready to connect to the neck and the head. If we look at another reference image, here we can see it again, this loop going round the arm, round to the neck, and here again connecting up with the leg. So we can see it's going up and out, and then these are going around. So to start off with, looking at this image in particular, we're going to take these two edges of our leg, extrude them up, and then take the rest of the edges and extrude them out. Now remember, you only need to do half of the model because we can mirror the rest across. Okay, so back into Maya. Remember, using your front view, your side view, we're going to be selecting these two. These are going to get extruded up, so if we go to the move tool, hold shift, and drag the arrow, that will extrude them for us. Check in the front, hold in slightly, maybe do this to maybe this line. It's not too much of a problem at the moment, we can fix it later, line it up a bit better. So next is the other faces. So I'm going to go into the perspective view. As you can see, those two have been extruded. Now the others, we need them to come out along this X axis, so going out this way, in towards the waist, in towards the center. We select them, and then if we go to the front view, hold shift again, extrude, and I want them to come in like so. So what we're looking for here is this line here. Now this is to straighten up towards the center line, so we can rotate like so. We can also go to the vertices. If you click on the vertices, select these ones down the middle. Just check with the wireframe, it is still selecting those at the back. That's how you want it. And we're just going to use the scale tool in the X, so the red, just to get those level, bring them all straight. And then we're just going to tweak them in, pull them down. So I want this to sort of be straight. So this line is straight and can connect up with them. You could have it lower, something like that. It's probably going a bit too low. What you'll find is there's no sort of happy medium. So what you'll need to do is set those top ones, and then we need to sort of sort out this bottom bit. You might need to bring in the leg ones. I suggest going to the wireframe. Make sure you're getting these ones at the back as well when you're pulling in. You still want this to be, this oval shape to be straight, but you might want these pulling in a bit. And what you're really looking for, go back to, is for these to sort of follow along. All I'm doing is moving these up individually. So we're sort of looking for quite a smooth transition. These two all follow the same sort of direction. So this one's probably a bit too high, maybe a bit lower. So they all sort of going like this, and the floor is moving like that. So what I do and then go into your perspective, have a look around this. Now one thing you can see is it's come out quite oval shape, like a round shape, where that's not the case. So one thing you'll need to do is select, say, this one, pull this forwards, again with the next one. With this being the front of the body, the belly will stick out slightly. So we go to the side view, you'll sort of see this started to appear, so you can see the stomach's coming out. Here, further in, you may need to pull these back a little bit just so you can see it a little bit better. Not too much, you want to make sure that you're still keeping that shape. And it's just about going back and forth. See now this one's been pushed back. You can see this is sort of dipping back in from an angle, and that one needs to come back in slightly. Maybe this one needs to come forward a little bit because I feel that's too far in. And it's just roughing it out to what you think the body looks like. So obviously it's going down there in the middle of the legs, then at the back it needs to sort of follow along. This is where we need to do the same as what we did at the back, at the front, at the back. So we grab this vertice just here, pull this out, this one out, maybe that one comes in slightly, starting to get the shape of the bum. So now what we need to do is go to the side view and just sort of grab these, pull them up. You're looking to try and follow that shape. So that one probably is further in. This one might be a bit higher. Again, you're just roughing the shape because when we smooth it, it'll do a lot of the work for us. So this is fine. See here it's cutting under quite sharply. What we need to do there is select the next vertice down, this one, and push that back. It's too far forwards. So we just keep checking on here. You'll see if we go to the wireframe view, what you're sort of getting. So turn the wireframe back off. Sort of see that shape's changing. Maybe that one needs to come in a little bit. And really, you just want to get it roughly right. So have a look at it from perspective view. It seems to be following the shape of the body that it normally would. So leg goes up into the center of the body, the abdomen sort of area where it starts, and then at the back. So here, again, still that's probably too far forwards. That probably needs to come back a bit. So if we go back to the front, just double check again. Yeah, it's roughly right. Alright, it's not to the bottom on the image, but that's fine. That may get pulled down a little bit just so it's level with that one. Same with that one. So what I'm doing there is sort of straighten them up closer to the point of the one at the back. So we're getting this sort of the right shape we're looking for. See the stomach's coming out slightly, ready to go up. This probably too far back, so again, pull that back in. It's just about tweaking it until you get it how you want it. So next, we need to connect these up and start making a loop again. So we're going to go back to the edges, which can be found over here. Make sure none are selected. If there are any selected, it will tell you how many here on the right. So if we select this edge, extrude them across. So they're coming out towards the same middle part. Now, one thing again you may want to do is rotate those just in that direction. Again, you can select those vertices. You may need to go into the 3D view to get the ones you're looking for. And use the scale tool in this direction from the front just to make them level. Now, one thing I would say is they're too far in. So I would grab these two at the front and bring them towards this one at the front. So these two we are gonna target weld soon, and these two we are. So again, we just look around, it's too boxy at the back, so let them pull them back. So maybe go to the side view. What I'm finding here is the leg is pushing it too far back, so all of these vertices are a bit too far back. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to select these ones, pull them forwards, select these ones, pull them in. So really what we're looking for is this to sort of be in where the back is. Same with this one. Now all I'm doing now is just tweaking them. These at the top, I'm just going to make those level. So I'm just going to select them all from the side view. Go to scale, scale those down. So you get this level. This front one's probably a little bit too far. Same with this back one. So what you're finding are sort of getting this shape slowly. So 3D view. See, we are slowly getting the right sort of shape. Maybe it is this side bit needs to come out a little bit more, so that just needs pulling out a little bit. Don't get too bogged down in tweaking this back and forth. It's just, for now, we can always tweak it later to get it perfect. So like I said, we're going to now target weld these vertices. So if we select off, so we've got none selected at all, make sure here is no selected. Go down to target weld, and then we're going to just drag from this one to that one at the front. So it's all connected up. And then the same with these two at the back. Make sure you click off target weld here. Just make sure you click it again so it goes grey. Make sure you're not stuck on that tool. Now you'll see this is now starting to create a loop. If it had the other half on it, it would have a loop all the way around, making the waist. So that's the leg connected up. You will tweak this back and forth, getting the shape you're looking for. We'll even add more detail, more topology later on, but all I'm doing there is trying to get that shape of the stomach, shape at the back. So I think that's a bit too sharp, that bend. So now we've got this sort of shape. We're now going to move this. So again, these may come in slightly. Lots of tweaking. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the front view. So you can see we've got this sort of shape going, and we just want these edges at the top. Now, just be careful if you double click, because it will select the whole gap, as you can see here. And we don't want all these, we just want these four at the top at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to extrude those up. Go back to the front view, and we're going to aim for these ones to stop around where the chest area starts. And then we're going to select the vertices, select the two at the front. We don't want this middle one or the ones at the back. I'm just going to pull them forwards to where the chest is. We're going to go to the front view. I'm going to select the ones at this side, pull them out. We have this one a little bit further in. Go back to the side view, select these ones at the back, pull them back. They shouldn't be going up and down or anything like that. It should all be straight from the side, all be straight from the front. You can see it's flowing quite smoothly down. You know, that might be a bit further out like that. clicking the 3D. So yeah, you're seeing that these need to be a bit further back. These maybe need to be a bit further forwards. And this will slowly start to come together a little bit by a little bit. So now we've got to here. We're going to do one more extrude of these edges at the top. So just make sure you've got the right ones selected, these 4. And go to the front view, extrude these up again, so shift, drag. And then again, select these vertices at the side, pull these out. Maybe these are a little bit too high, so we're looking for sort of the armpit area, these to go to. And if we look from the side, you'll notice that the back, these ones at the back need to go further back. Maybe these need to start to curve a little bit, so you're getting that sort of curve at the back. At the front, chest starts to dip back in. So again, you'll get this curve, but this is fine for now. Like I said, we can work things out a bit more. Now, these 2 in the middle, these need to be pushed back a bit, so it's following the flow a bit more of these other ones. So you see it's sort of going in the same direction. These evenly spaced. That's sort of what we're looking for. So now we've started to get the torso, the legs connected. The next big part is making sure we've got a gap for the arm to connect up. So we need to create a sort of a hole on this side. So we know the arm that's connecting is going to be 8, 10 edges going off the leg. The leg was 10 edges, so we need to make sure there's enough edges on the hole. So I'm looking for 8 to 10. We can always add some later on if the arm's bigger, smaller, but we'll go for one of those for now. So what we'll do is we'll go to the side view. We'll select these that we've got here. I'm going to drag them down slightly. Then what we're going to do is we're actually going to select the edge at the front and the edge at the back. Actually, first what we're going to do, we're going to add another loop of detail into this middle section because it's a bit thin on the ground. So what we're going to do, we're going to select the ring of edges. So this one, this one, this one, going all the way down and under. So it goes right under, all the way up the back. Now, what we need to do then is go to Modeling Toolkit, scroll down to where it says Connect, and then we just want one connection, one segment at 0.50, no pinch, and then it should create you a line right down the middle, and then we just need to press Enter. There you go. Disconnect. Sorry. There we go. So mine has actually had a little bit of an issue where it's not cut all the way through. If this does happen on yours, what you can do is it's done the most part, so you can see that it's done the line all along the bottom. It's just the couple of these at the top. Maybe the angle's a bit too far off for it to work it out, something like that. So all you need to do is you go to your multi-cut, which is just above your connect tool. And this will give you a tool that you can click on the edge of, click on a vert, click on an edge, and cut. So if you click on one, so click on this vert here, and I click on this edge, it creates a line. If you just press enter, it's then created that cut. Again, at the back, there's going to be a couple here, so we're going to do from this vertex to this edge, and then you can carry on going again to the top. Press enter. So then just make sure you click off the multi-cut tool, just to double check your edge is all the way around. if we go to the edge and just double click on one of these, it should select it all the way around like it has. So one thing we want to do with this is we want to make it wider because currently it's still flat against it. So if we just go with it all selected, go to the scale tool, scale in the Z direction on mine, but this direction. So it gives it a bit more curve. Look at it from the front, from the side, we can see it's giving that bit more curve, maybe a bit too much there, so maybe we only need it to about something like that. We look at it from the front, that's all fine. So really just make sure that's sort of following the floor. You may then want to go back to your vertices and just move some of these ones that are here. Some of these ones out a bit and just inwards. So I'm just pulling those out together and then scaling them in together just to give it a bit more of that curve of the body, if you will. So once you've got it sort of like this, what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the edge of this one and this one, and we're going to, so the top two on each side, we don't want any of these, and we're actually going to bridge those. And when the option comes up, you want to add. So at the moment, we will just add one division for now. So it adds one extra line there. And then what you want to do is select that line and pull that up. So we go to the front view. This is sort of going to be up here. This will get tweaked and changed in a second once we've sorted out the arm to do the neck. So what we're actually going to do is we're just going to tweak a few vertices. So we'll just check this from the side. Probably want this a bit further back. We know we want these to be these set to be a bit more further back. See, we're looking for that arm sort of space. Especially these ones. So then what we need to do is tweak these a little bit. Really what we're looking for is to create sort of an arm hole, if you will. So these two here, we're actually going to edit these quite a bit just to make them come up and inwards. So like this. Go back to this one at the top. We're actually going to try and make this arm hole sort of like this. So you can probably see this is now taking a bit more shape. This one probably needs pulling up. Out. So again, I'm getting a little bit bogged down in the going back and forth, but you don't necessarily need to do that like I am. So I'm just pulling these out. So we can see from the side that this gap's too big, so we need to maybe pull this in, pull this one in, this one down from the top. So we're sort of getting this two vertices at this side, two vertices at that side, and a vertice at the top and the bottom. So what we're getting there is sort of the hole that the arm's going to connect with, but we need to add more detail to this. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to select these edges, and you'll see we've actually got 6 edges at the moment. That's quite low for an arm to be working with, so we probably want to add some more detail to that. So one thing we're going to do is we are going to, there's many ways to do this, but what we're going to actually do is we're going to use this edge at the top is probably the easiest one to work with, and we're going to scroll down and use a tool called Bevel. And what Bevel do is it will split that edge into more. So at the moment it's split into 2 instead of it being 1. Just change the size of this, how many segments it has. So I'm actually going to add an extra segment, scale it up like so. So then if I click off there, again we're going to move some of these vertices around. So some of these are now too high, it's too close to the other one. These are probably too high too. These I'm going to pull out because I'm going to do the same to this edge down the side. Actually, no, I'm not. I'll leave that as it is. Pull these in. Put these 2 in. This down. This one down. So at current, now we have 8 edges. So ideally, this is okay, but we're probably looking for 10. Just going to move some of these. So we've got a side view. You're looking for is sort of creating that shape at the back and the front. Is this too far away, too far forwards? The same with the shape of the arm. See, this hole is here. The next step, it is a bit fiddly, this. So these are a bit far out now. We want to pull these up from the front so that you're sort of seeing the arm gap is there. Again, I'm getting a bit bogged down in going back and forth there, but get the idea. So what we're going to do next is we're going to add a loop in across these. So across these edges. So if we select all those are going round and connect those down here, connect. It's done that perfectly this time, no need for the extra multi-cut tool. We're just going to tweak these slightly. Keep pulling this out for some reason. I think the images are slightly off. This one needs to be, yeah, it's fine. May need pulling back a bit. You can probably pull down now. Pushed out a little bit. So, what we are looking for is, if we look back at the reference image, there's this loop around the neck. So we need to work out how we're going to do that. So we've got this loop going around the arm, and this connects up with the neck. So if we go back to Maya, I'm going to actually select this hole. I'm going to pull this vertice forward because it's a bit of an issue there. Select this hole, and we're going to actually shift where we go to scale first, hold shift and then select the blue box in the middle. I'm going to scale that in so we get another set of faces and pull them out. So from the front view, it's going to start to create the shoulder for you. We're going to select all the vertices in this section, and we're actually just going to flatten those. So we're going to make sure they're all selected and go from the front view with the x-axis scale, push them in. If we want to make them a bit bigger, you'll start to see that this shape's now starting to take a lot more closely defined to the image. Again, this may be like so. One thing you may want to do is just straighten these up a bit more like this, because the chest actually sticks down like this sort of shape, on the male at least. So we're getting something like this. So you can see the arms, the shoulders starting to pop out. So next is, like I've been saying, this sort of neck shape. So now we've got this circle for the arm coming down. One thing we need to do is actually delete some of these faces, because they are actually in the way. So if we just delete some of these 4 at the top should do. We just delete those. So we get something like this. So then what we're looking for is, if we pull these vertices in, so these 2 at the edge of that corner, if we actually push those inwards in the front view like this and pull them up, select these 2 in the middle and push them down, start to see we're starting to get a sort of rounded shape. Pull this out a bit as well. So this is going to work quite well for us. Make sure you're checking the back as well, just every now and again. For instance, this, let's see if we could do with being a crossover here. So now we've got this shape. We're going to do a bit like with the leg. And we're actually going to, well, with this, we're going to actually go select the front and the back edge and pull these up. So shift extrude them up. Should be getting quite used to that now. We're doing it quite often. We're going to straighten those edges. Pull them up slightly. Hold on, am I doing this right? Yeah, so this is going to be sort of the base of your neck. So what we're actually going to do now is select the rest of those and extrude them up as well. Now one thing you may want to do is just select the vertices on a little bit fiddly. This one and the one at the front, and pull them in like so, so you can actually grab what you're looking for. I've just pulled them to the side. Now what we're going to want to do with these vertices that we've extruded, these ones, is one, we're going to want to flatten them to begin with. So just scale way down, and then we're going to pull those in. So we start to make this neck shape. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to pull these ones up, and then we're going to target weld these together. So we're going here, I'm going to target weld, go to your target weld on the right in the modeling toolkit, this one up and this one up. So now we've got this going round, that's then going to connect to the neck. So make sure you tick off target weld. Again, these are going to need tweaking. So we go to the side view, this neck is way too big. So a couple of things. The chest is maybe a bit too low, a bit too close to the body. Need to pull these out, especially this one on the like sort of top of the chest. These ones on the neck, the shape needs to come back. So this, remember, is not quite the neck. It's sort of the top of the shoulders, the back. So you see it's touching the top of the back. So these will come in ever so slightly. Do them individually if you want to. Like so, you might want to bring them down so you're getting a bit more shape. Suggest doing this. I'm just selecting this one, giving a bit more curve to that sort of shape. So it's just about tweaking here and there, getting the shape you're looking for. Let's see what I mean. You see now it's starting to follow some curves going round, curves going up and over. This maybe needs pulling out and up. There is a vertice just here hidden that may need pushing up and out. Some of these may need pulling down. One thing I would say is this shoulder part here. You'll probably find that if we pull these down, these need pulling in, because these need to go to sort of this sort of area where the neck starts. We want these to be level, remember, so roughly level. Like this. So one thing is these may need pulling up, so you get a bit more pulling in. So you get a bit more of that shape. So what you sort of, wrong button. What you should be getting is something like this. So you've got your arm, sort of the shoulder of your arm coming out, back's all nice and smooth, chest is coming out. One thing we can do with the chest now is actually give it a bit more detail. So I'm just going to add one more loop. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select these edges along the middle. I'm going to do a connect. But with this connect, I'm going to do it on the slide on the right. I'm going to change that to 0.9. So it goes right up close to the other line like this. And then make sure that's done it all the way around. If we then go to the side, I'm going to select the vertices of these at the front, and these three. We're going to pull them in, just so you get this little bit of a dip back. And then these ones, this one here, third one back, I'm just going to pull that down because it's a bit less so it's sort of like this, so it's going to stretch out a bit more. And then these ones further back, I'm just going to pull these down a bit more so they're a bit more stretched out, so it doesn't cause a tight arch when we smooth it. So again, use these to help create the shape you're looking for. Make sure you're trying to pull the same sort of, you see these curves, lines, make sure they're all sort of flowing, if you will, the best you can. So from the front, and that's all fine. I think these two maybe need pulling in. Oop, maybe these two pushing out actually. So getting a bit more of that sort of shape. Maybe it needs to be in the middle. Remember, you want all these in the middle, perfectly on the line, so when we flip it, it'll flip it perfectly and connect it all up for you. So if you are a bit unsure, just double select this line. Make sure to go to your perspective view and just deselect these at the top, so control click, and these ones going round the edge. And then from the front, use the scale tool, just push them in. See, it straighten them all up, so that's perfect. And then what we're looking for is just to finish off by extruding the neck. So we're going to select these ones at the top, the ones we just unselected from the selection. So these 6. And then what we're going to do from the front is we're going to, shift extrude them up. At the side, we're sort of looking, and he's pushing in. So you see this is now starting to line up quite well. Tweak a few of these. One issue I am seeing is if I go to see from above, this one's been pushed back too far, these two. So it's losing that curve of the neck. So we just need to pull those out. Maybe pull these ones out a bit more. Maybe these ones at the back need pulling in, just to get a bit more curve like a neck would be. Yeah. So remember, that's going to be like a semicircle. And then you may just want to select some of these, pull them up. So it's following that perfectly. So what you're getting here is, if we now the model, so you're getting this sort of shape. It's still very low polys. We're talking, we've got the leg in there and the torso, the neck, the shoulder, if you will. And we're talking 110 faces for one side of the body. So if I was to hit 3 just to smooth that, to see what it looks like. See, got the back's maybe arching a bit too much there, maybe needs a bit more pull, so just select that 1. These, especially these 2 at the back, they probably need pulling out a bit more now. To give it that bit more curve. Remember, the reference images are only there as reference, so they don't have to stick to that perfectly. So if we now go back and press 3, it's probably still quite thin, but that's a bit better. The ribs are coming out quite a bit, but that's fine. You'll find that if we look at it from the side, there is this little bit where it cuts back slightly, and that's because we added that extra line in really close. So if I go back to 1, this line that's here, because it's close to this line, it's making this curve sharper. But if it's further apart like these are, that's not as sharp. So we've done that on purpose to give it that sort of bit more of a chest. Again, you can tweak these going back and forth. If I just go to I'm looking here. If we was to mesh, mirror, apply. Let's see, this is flipped it. So maybe set that to 30. I'm changing the wrong settings here. Oh, here, this is what I'm looking for. So pull this apart. Maybe up this merge threshold so it merges them together at the middle. So you'll see Here we've got a loop going round here. So you've got a loop going around here, loop going around at the neck, loop going around the chest, a couple of times the waist, the back, the legs. It's going under here and up towards the neck. This is a loop around the arms. So we press 3 on that. Obviously this may need some tweaking to be more how you want it, especially with this area here. It's sort of stuck out a bit too much, not like should be. We press 1, you see it here, it's curving too much. So that'll be a matter of pulling some of these vertices out a bit, making them more part of the bum than the leg. Pulling those out, maybe pulling them in a bit more like that, so it becomes less arching shape. And under here is quite sharp in the middle. So again, that may need to be pulled up, pulled in. However, this is something you can just do once you've got it all set up. So I'm not going to play around with that too much. That's all something you can fix. So you can see this is now starting to fix that bum shape compared to the other side. This is just something you can do when you get to it. But now you're ready to add the arms, hands and feet, and then that's the main body done. In the next video we'll be looking at the arms.